Come on. We will win. Because we will hit all game. We are motivated. We are dedicated. Come on now. Come on now. We will win. Because we are the best on the field. And we hit the field like all day light, all night light, on the blue light, offense light, defense light, his squad light, house call light, and the sound light, and the sound light, and the sound light.
Looks right, throws it too high. Oh, it was called on the backhand. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He put it in. ECU, the miracle win. In Lubbock, Connecticut.
Goes for the end zone. The ball's in the air. It drops at the goal line. I think he caught it for a touchdown. He got it. He got it. He got it. Touchdown, Nick Matthews. The Cougars win it. The Cougars win it. He gets it. He's got room to the right. Tucks. Throws anyway. In the end zone it is. Caught. It's caught for a touchdown.
A good one. The set down. The kick is up. On the way.
He missed the catch. Do you believe this? With 1:11 to go, he missed the catch.
He's up in the kick. It's all good. And the Cougars are going to win the football game.
L. Barnes over on the far side. He's going to keep it himself. Cutting up the inside. Slams for the touchdown.
I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. I can't wait too far for me to stop it now.
Welcome everybody to the Short Sports Show. I am your host Daniel Short. Today is Monday morning, December 28th, 2015. Hopefully everybody had a great week, a great weekend, I should say. Happy holidays for everybody, and a good Merry Christmas. Even though we already did a Christmas show, just making sure everybody had a good time, because I had a great time. There was something I was going to say. Oh, exactly. Now I was going to remember everything. This is a terrible start. Welcome everybody to the show. This week, just gonna let you guys know what I did. Obviously, Christmas Day is when we did the show. I decided to spend the day just with my dad, just me and him, hang out, just chill, have fun, watch some games. He doesn't really like basketball, so we didn't get to watch any basketball games really. We were just, had our own time. We just relaxed, chilled. And then yesterday, I didn't do anything really after that. Yesterday, went over to my cousin's house, played some Madden. Best game ever. I wish I was able to record it or something. You guys would have loved it. It was one heck of a game. I'll just quick glimpse. I'm the Titans. He's the Texans. So we just picked random teams. We went with whatever. It just happened to be the same game that was actually going on. And anyways, I was doing okay. I won the first game when I played as the Rams. He played as the I can't remember. I won the first game. Then we played the second game. Of course, the Texans, Titans. And I'm the Titans, hosting the game. Everything's going good. He ends up with about 40 seconds left in the game. He gets the game-tying touchdown, ties it at 17. I'm like, great. I got to go down there somehow, some way. I get a solid return, get it to about the 28-yard line. I'm like, I'm good. And first play, I didn't know what exactly I was going to do because I didn't know. I hadn't played against him in a long time, so I didn't know what defense he was going to try to run, whatnot. So I said, all right, let me just take a bomb outside. That's just what opened up. Took a bomb, took it all the way, and it was incomplete. And I'm like, great. Then we see a yellow flag. I get a little excited. I'm like, okay, either he hit my quarterback, so I gained some yards, or that's pass interference. And the way the wide receiver acted, he acted a little bit weird. So I'm like, all right, good. Finally. It was a flag. It was pass interference. It took me all the way down to about the 24-yard line, on the opposite 24-yard line. So all I had to do it was like 4 seconds left, or about 8 seconds left or something like that. All I had to do, kick a field goal. Kick the field goal. Thought I won the game, right? I'm thinking, all right, cool. All I got to do is just pooch the kick and, game over. I screwed up on the pooch kick. I meant to go to the right side and pop it up, but instead it still went to about the 10-yard line or something. So he returns it from the left sideline, takes it all the way for a touchdown, and he wins the game. So shout out to Ray. There it is. You get your 15 seconds of fame. He beat me after I thought I had won 20 to 17. He ends up winning 26 to 17 or 20, whatever damn score with 26 to 20. It was very, very upsetting. But anyways, that was my holiday week. I hope everybody had a great week. I know Peyton Manning probably didn't have such a great week, but it could get better. So anyways, guys, we're going to talk about some things college football wise. We're getting ready. Guys, this is the last week. We're only a few days away from the college football playoff games, which means Oklahoma and Clemson. Then we got Alabama, Michigan State. I'll be able to see the Alabama-Michigan State game for sure, which really, yes, it's a great game, but it's not like my cup of tea that I really care for watching that game. I'd much rather watch the Oklahoma-Clemson game, but I'm going to be working, and thankfully they allow me to have my phone out there, and I can watch the game while I work. But still, it's not the same. I want to watch that game at my place, on my screen, on my TV, and just be able to enjoy myself. But we'll see. But anyways, let's get on with the show. That intro you guys heard was from Triune, featuring EQ. It is called Forever. You can buy it on iTunes right now. All links are down in the description below. Moving on. When the Oklahoma Sooners watch film of the Clemson Tigers, quarterback Deshaun Watson, as they prepare for the college football playoff, it resembles somebody. They're like, man, we've seen this somewhat type of player. Biggest name that came up was TCU quarterback Trevon Boykin. So I had to put the story in here, guys. This is what Oklahoma linebacker Dominique Alexander said of Watson, saying you got to keep him contained. And again, Watson finished he's finished third in Heisman, 3,500 yards, almost rushing for 900 yards. But they're saying he looked a lot like somewhat to Trevon Boykin, which I could see some similarities, but there's a different set of skills. Sooners somewhat got lucky to finish out the year in the stretch. They played Baylor, TCU, and Oklahoma State, all starting backup quarterbacks. Somewhat good for them. They were able to play against backup quarterbacks. Now, when asked Sunday to come up with a comparison for Watson, Boykin was the name invoked by most of the Sooners, even though the TCU quarterback sat out the season's game against Oklahoma with an ankle injury. Alexander said, quote, "We didn't face Boykin this year." I thought my headset was about to fall. It scared me. Sorry. We didn't face Boykin this year, but the guys we have on our defense, we all played last year. So we've seen a quarterback like that. As good as Watson has been with his speed, Oklahoma cornerback Zach Sanchez still called Boykin the best athlete the Sooners have seen and will probably see. But he admits he's impressed with how Watson sets the tone for the Tigers. Now, apparently, there was some small little report that people were upset to compare Boykin and Watson. I don't understand why. Both are outstanding quarterbacks. Zach Sanchez said that, again, that Boykin was the best athlete at the quarterback position that he's ever played against, that he thinks any of the guys have played against at Oklahoma. But that Watson was probably the better quarterback. Agree, disagree, whatever. No, it's obviously Watson did a great job this year. But I just kind of like that, how Boykin's name got thrown out there and some good recognition. So of course I had to put that out here. Number 19, Florida will be without starting right tackle Mason Halter in the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. The Gators announced Sunday that Halter and backup linebacker Anthony Harrell did not make the trip to Orlando for the New Year's Day game against number 17 Michigan. Both players were redshirt seniors, so their college careers are now over. Also, Iowa tight end Jake Duzey will not play in the Rose Bowl against Stanford after aggravating a knee injury in practice. He tore his patella tendon in spring practice and played in 9 games in limited basis after finishing with 36 catches in 2014, which surprisingly that was the most by any Big Ten tight end, which 36 doesn't seem like a whole lot. He did not catch a pass at all this year, so he will be out. And another thing, which there wasn't a whole lot of college news, which is kind of upsetting because, I love talking about some college football. Obviously, we'll get into the bowl picks here just after this. But Lane Kiffin, he said Sunday that he expects to return as Alabama's offensive coordinator next season. Saying, quote, "I'd love to be back. We'll have a new set of challenges with the third year of a new quarterback, replacing a Heisman Trophy winner in Derrick Henry, just as we did with the Biletnikoff winner the year before in Amari Cooper, and some great returning players to work with. I'll be really excited about that." Sources close to Kiffin also said on ESPN.com that there is a good chance that he'll be back at Alabama for a third year, and that the relationship between Kiffin and head coach Nick Saban is much better than what has been portrayed so far. And he really loves it. He loves being there. And that's possibly because they're just winning. Kiffin had a chance to leave after his first season at Alabama when he was offered the offensive coordinator job with the San Francisco 49ers. But he didn't want to leave after 1 year. He said, quote, "It just didn't feel right. He really took a chance on me. The phone wasn't ringing, even for assistant coaching jobs. It wasn't. And I felt like we really didn't finish what we had started last year. And to see if we could go this year and finish how we should have finished last year." Sorry, flipped on me. And get him another championship. Kiffin made his comments at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic media session. He rarely does interviews because obviously we all know Saban doesn't allow assistant coaches to talk to media. And Kiffin, who owns a 28-15 record as a college coach, said he would love to be a head coach again, but he said that his focus is on the job that he currently has. So whether he goes, whether he stays, I think it's all but true that he's going to stay this year, next season in 2016 as Alabama's offensive coordinator, because what job is really out there he can take? The only two head coaching jobs that are available right now are Ball State and Texas State. That's it. I highly doubt he's going to consider being a head coach for either one of those schools. So really, it's staying at Alabama. Unless, again, if an NFL thing comes up again, obviously not as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, does he consider that again? Especially if they win the national championship, they finish what they started. Let's see. But honestly, if I'm anybody, I don't want Lane Kiffin. I don't. I think it's more just Alabama just being good than Lane Kiffin really having an effect on the coach. But I mean, obviously, I guess I can't say too much about that because with the quarterbacks that he's had, not really the greatest. Not really the greatest. Other than, we had last year, which was okay. But this year it's been not your typical national championship type caliber team with the quarterback that you have, and yet you're still there. So I guess there is some credit to Lane Kiffin. Again, the bowl games. We talked about it on Friday. I'm talking about these games with the Pittsburgh and Navy and Central Michigan and Minnesota tonight. I guess we can do just a quick preview in case you didn't listen to that. Got Pittsburgh and Navy tonight. Navy's a 3-point favorite. I'm going to go ahead and take Navy on this one with Keenan Reynolds going out on a high note, hopefully finishing out strong. I'm going to go with Navy. And in Central Michigan and Minnesota, really not something to care about a whole lot. That is a 4 o'clock Central Time on ESPN2. Minnesota 4.5 favorite. I am going to take Minnesota here. Not a fun game. Is there anything? What else do we have until Friday? Obviously, we got some big games. Yes, we do. Tuesday is when it all goes down. And again, of course, I'll be at work. Yay. California and Air Force started off on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Central Time on ESPN. It is at Amon G. Carter Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas, of course, TCU Stadium. It is the Armed Forces Bowl. Cal is a 7-point favorite over Air Force. How the weather's going to be, who really knows? North Texas has just been slammed by both tornadoes and just crazy weather. Literally, we had 4 seasons of weather this past weekend in the state of Texas. You had blizzards, you had sandstorms, you had just rain. You just had just about everything. All the weather was all mixed everywhere from 70 to about, like 30. It was crazy. So who knows what the weather's going to be like over there. It should favor Air Force if the weather's, pretty iffy. If the wind's blowing crazy, if it's just bad weather, Air Force runs a triple option. It should be in favor for them. But if it's just a normal type day or enough to get it over with for Cal might get the job done. So I'm going to go ahead and take Cal with the 7-point favorite. I don't know about 7 points, but I'm going to go ahead and take Cal over Air Force. Then you have what was looking like a great game, really just a one-sided game. And how the line is just 3 points in favor of North Carolina makes no sense to me whatsoever. You have number 10, North Carolina, taking on 17, Baylor in the Russell Athletic Bowl, 4:30 Central Time on ESPN. Orlando, Florida, weather's going to be nice. It's going to be fine. Baylor, Jarrett Stidham's out. Corey Coleman's out. And Shock Linwood is out. Your top 3 offensive players all out. And we've seen what the Baylor team we get when they don't have their starting quarterback and a healthy team. They're bad. They're terribly, terribly bad. Very, very bad. They lost to Texas at home. Bad. And you're telling me that North Carolina is only going to win possibly just by 3 points. That offense of North Carolina is absolutely going to blow up about 50 points on Baylor. Maybe 45. I'll go 45 to play it safe. 45 points on Baylor. Baylor scores probably about maybe 23, 24 at most. That's being lucky. That's being positive, optimistic on Baylor's offense. I'm taking North Carolina here to win it big time. 6:30 Central Time, Nevada versus Colorado State in the Arizona Bowl. Taking Colorado State here. I like them. I'm going to go Colorado State with Nick Stevens. 2,300 passing yards. Not the most interesting game, especially these two schools were pissed because they had to play each other even though they're both in a Mountain West conference. They're like, really? We couldn't play someone that's somewhat different. They didn't play each other this year, I don't believe. But why not play someone that's a different out of conference, stuff like that. Then, to wrap it all up, Tuesday night, a very, very intriguing and very fun game is number 20 LSU taking on Texas Tech, 8 o'clock Central Time in the Texas Bowl on ESPN. LSU is a 7-point favorite. Going to be a fun game. Going to be a really, really fun game because you have LSU with Leonard Fournette rushing power attack. And then you have Texas Tech with a spread offense, air raid offense that LSU has never seen this season at all. And they got to go out. They got to go against them. It's going to be interesting because Texas Tech's defense is one of the worst rushing defenses. I think they're like second to last in rushing defense. And then they're going against Leonard Fournette. And you have LSU who's never played an offense like this since, who knows? And don't even tell me Texas A&M because they don't run it. They do not run the same offense as Texas Tech. It's not even close. So they might try, but Texas Tech obviously runs it better. Patrick Mahomes is going to be healthy. Jakeem Grant is going to be healthy. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot closer, and it's going to be a shootout game, depending on how LSU plays it. Obviously, LSU can't go toe-to-toe with Texas Tech by passing the ball, so obviously they're going to run into and take advantage of the weakness that Texas Tech has. Excuse me. But it's just going to be interesting how these two teams go at it, and if LSU trying to control the clock, obviously, and run it. Texas Tech, you've had a couple weeks now, almost probably a month, to get ready for this game and really improve your defense to just, all right, this team is just going to run the ball. I formation, 3 fullbacks. No, I'm just joking. 3 tight ends and extra offensive linemen. They're just going to run, stack the box, play the safeties out just in case, and be ready for it all month. Got to get ready for it. But I want to take Texas Tech for this, and I'm kind of leaning towards it, but I just feel like LSU has enough talent and experience in big games, even though it's not the biggest game out there, but to really come away with this win. So I'm going with LSU. Then Wednesday, we have Auburn and Memphis, 11 a.m. Central Time on ESPN. I am taking Memphis for this game. I don't think it's going to be even close. Auburn is a 3-point favorite. Wow. Are you kidding me? That's the first time I've seen the line. That's the first time I've seen the line, and Auburn is a 3-point freaking favorite. God, this is just like the offseason again. It really is, when everybody's like, oh, Jeremy Johnson's going to win the Heisman, and Auburn's going to make it to the playoffs. What happened with that? Jesus. And now they're a 3-point favorite over Memphis. This is unbelievable. What is up with this Auburn love? Now, I don't hate Auburn. Trust me, I don't. But when you give them too much credit, like just bad, that's dumb. It's dumb. I'm taking Memphis big time, and I hope all the Memphis players and coaches and staff, they see this line and they're like, all right, that's cool. Everybody's still doubting us, given what we've had, the success we've had. I know Justin Fuente's gone, but Paxton Lynch is still there. He's not just leaving. I know he's going to the NFL, but he's not leaving now. Paxton Lynch is going to have a fun day and just dominate Auburn. North Carolina State taking on Mississippi State at 2:30 Central Time on ESPN. I am taking, I don't know. Actually, that's a tough game. North Carolina State, terrible defense, great offense. Mississippi State, just depends what team you get. I mean, Dak Prescott can play really good. 3,400 passing yards, 25 touchdowns. His name was thrown around for some awards. Had a great year last year. Fell apart at the end. This year just never could put it together. It's tough. This game is tough. I'm going to take Mississippi State by a field goal. I think it's going to be close. Taking Mississippi State here. 6 o'clock Central Time, you have Texas A&M with no quarterbacks against Louisville, which had a rough start to the beginning of the year. They played some really tough teams and finished out 7-5, a lot better than I think a lot of us would have thought. I think most of us would have thought after starting off, didn't they start off like 0-4 or 0-5? No, they didn't go on the 7-game winning streak. So it was like probably 0-3, 0-4, somewhere around there, and they end up winning and playing pretty strong at the end, given they played ACC and stuff. But I'm going to take Louisville. I think, yes, you had some time to get ready for your other quarterbacks. Kyle Allen's gone, Kyler Murray. There's so much talk about what's happening with the management and the coaching at A&M, what's happening over there. And when I say management, I understand this is school, not pros. I'm talking about athletic director, associate, what's happening in the coaching management area. I'm just going to take Louisville. Louisville doesn't have really any problems right now. They've been focused. Texas A&M has been out of focus. Maybe some players are focused, but I think Louisville has a good time and gets this game under wraps. So taking Louisville here. 9:30 p.m. Central Time to wrap up Wednesday night action. It is a Holiday Bowl with USC and Wisconsin going at it in Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Probably the last game going to be played there. Cody Kessler obviously wants to finish out strong. Y'all know how I feel about Wisconsin. I absolutely hate their quarterback and Joel Stave, who throws about 2 interceptions per game. Not 2 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. I'm gonna say I would say he only throws 1. I think he does pretty solid. Maybe he just throws 1 pick this game, just 1. He's got to throw at least 1. So just gonna say 1 there. I'm taking USC to win this game and have a fun time. Then Thursday is where it all happens. God, Thursday's going to be so fun. I hate that I have to work. Damn it. Thursday's going to be the funnest games. Here we go. We got number 18, Houston, taking on number 9, Florida State. As we all know, Everett Golston had has personal issues, family issues. I believe someone in his family passed away. Prayers out to his family. So he will not make the trip, and it'll mean that Sean McGuire goes out there, who's been co-starter for Florida State. So it's not like Florida State's going to come in here like, oh, crap, we got our backup quarterback. And then you got Houston. I was picking Houston once this game was announced. Once this game was announced, I picked Houston, and I'm sticking with my pick. Florida State is a 7-point favorite in the Peach Bowl. This is on ESPN, 11 a.m. Central Time. I absolutely cannot wait for this game. Thankfully, I will be able to watch this game in its entirety, but that's it. I am taking Houston to win this game. DeMarcus Ayers, everybody on that freaking Houston offense, plus Greg Ward. I am taking Houston to win this game big. 14 points at the very minimum. Houston wins this and just completes a great year for the Cougars. Then you have 3 o'clock Central Time on ESPN. It is the Capital One Orange Bowl, the college football playoff semifinal. Sun Life Stadium in Miami, Florida. Supposed to be, again, this is on Thursday. We're recording this on Monday. So who knows, weather's going to change 24/7. But right now it's predicted 82 degrees, but rainy in Miami at 3 o'clock Central Time. Who really knows whether it's happened? Hopefully we just have a clear game so that way there's no excuses, for either one of these teams saying, well, Oklahoma didn't play in that bad of weather, or Clemson didn't play in that bad of weather. Whatever. I don't want to hear any excuses. I want to just hear great game. Oklahoma, Clemson, it all comes down to this. I have not made a pick anywhere, any place. I've never said who I was picking in this game. I was going to wait until the actual game, but obviously we don't do a show until obviously Mondays and Fridays. So this is forcing me to make a pick, and I will do so. Oklahoma, Clemson. Oklahoma's a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under is 64 points. I am going to take Clemson to get this done only because of this defense playing the way it does. And Clemson really hasn't had a slip-up game like Oklahoma's had. I mean, if you want to look at Oklahoma's schedule and what they've done this season, it's been a lot of close calls and maybe a couple games that they should have lost. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, they did a good job. They came back. They persevered. They went through adversity. All this other great stuff. Absolutely 100%. I'm not disregarding anything Oklahoma's done. Oklahoma's one of the teams in the Big 12 that I actually like, that I don't mind if TCU loses. So it's not like I'm being biased towards them or anything. I don't think Oklahoma can do it. Yes, they've been in close games, which probably sometimes should give them the upper advantage, but Clemson has also played against really good teams and have won and persevered while Oklahoma's, Let's just take a quick look. At Tennessee, second week of the year, Oklahoma's down, 17-0, 24-3, whatever. They come back to win 31-24. Big game. On the road. In the SEC, whatever you want to give credit to. Great job. Should they have probably lost that game? Tennessee, we saw they let a lot of games slip this year. That was mostly on Tennessee just not closing. Could have lost that game. And I'm not trying to play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, but just saying what's happened. Then they have that bad loss to Texas. You can say that Texas beat Baylor, but look at what Baylor team it was, and they almost let Baylor come back. Not going to give a whole lot of credit to Texas here, but Oklahoma loses to that. Bad game. They responded great. They beat Kansas State on the road, a shutout, 55-0. They dominate Texas Tech. They outscore Texas Tech big time, 63-27. Kansas is Kansas. Iowa State's Iowa State. They go on the road to Baylor, win big time, 44-34. That was with Jarrett Stidham. Then they go and play TCU at home. TCU with the backup quarterback, with the third-string quarterback, almost beats them just one pass away from being the winner. And actually, again, just throwing it out there, remember, if TCU doesn't go for it in the third quarter, which is some stupid call to go for a 2-point conversion when they should just kick the extra point, they do that. They actually win this game with that last touchdown at the end. All they had to do, again, was to kick the extra point, and it would have won. It would have been 31-30. But just saying, so they could have been out of that. And then they dominate Oklahoma State. A lot of close games for Oklahoma that maybe they shouldn't have even won. But then again, there's that destiny thing that, remember what Auburn did against Alabama? All sorts of things. Now, Clemson, I was trying to actually bring up Clemson's schedule, but it decided to bring up the matchup. Clemson has really just dominated. Yes, it had a close game against Louisville early in the year. They won 20-17. Then they played Notre Dame, who was hot. They were hot that time. They beat them 24-22 at home. They play North Carolina State on the road. That game, I actually picked North Carolina State to win. I thought they were going to get it done. Didn't happen. 56-41. They play a tough team in Florida State at home. They beat them 23-13. And then close game against South Carolina, but that was really, it was done midway, and they just let them come back. And then UNC going against North Carolina, big game. They win 45-37. I feel like Clemson just has enough in them to get this game won and move on. I'm going to say 35-28 game, 35-27, somewhere around that, and Clemson gets the W as my voice cracks. And then 7 o'clock Central Time, you have Michigan State taking on Alabama in the Cotton Bowl, AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Alabama, a 9.5-point favorite. Remember the last time Michigan State was a big underdog, and that was against Ohio State on the road. And Michigan State goes over to Columbus and gets the W. Now, this is going to be a lot tougher. The way Alabama plays, Michigan State has a lot of film on them. I'm sure they've watched it multiple times now. It's a very tough game to pick. But the reason I'm picking Michigan State to win this game is because of the fact that Michigan State can run the ball. They don't have a big-time running back like Alabama has in Heisman Trophy winner Derrick Henry. But what they do have is a passing game that Alabama does not have at all. Not anywhere close to what Connor Cook can do. Connor Cook is going to be healthy. This game is going to come down with the pro-style offenses they run. It's going to come down to a close game. It's going to come down to the last quarter. It's going to come down to the last 2 minutes. And the team that can effectively not only run this ball and milk that clock, but as well as convert some third downs, not be afraid of 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 7s, and pass this ball effectively. I understand Alabama's defense, very, very good. Secondary, very, very good. Linebackers, very, very good. But I'm taking Michigan State. Not saying that Connor Cook might not throw a pick. He probably will in this game. But I believe Michigan State's defense has been around. They've been the underdog the past several years. They've been nothing but the underdog. And they have come away with the W. I'm taking Michigan State here. I feel like their DBs are going to be able to contain this somewhat passing game, if you want to call it, from Alabama, and hold them down. DBs just need to know, stay with your receivers and trust in your teammates, your brothers, that these defensive linemen and these linebackers are going to be able to get to Derrick Henry and not worry about a thing. Now, I'm not saying they shut down Derrick Henry. No team has done that, and I'm not saying that they will. Derrick Henry might get over 100 yards, but this is the last game for Derrick Henry at Alabama, and I'm taking Michigan State to win this 24-21 field goal game, Michigan State, Clemson in a national championship game. Crazy as it might sound, I'm taking Michigan State and I'm taking Clemson to win this game. Let me know in the comment section who you have, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be Oklahoma, Alabama is going to be what I'm hearing. I know I'm going to get a lot of the Alabama haters say, oh, you don't know, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's fine. I'm just asking, who do you have? You heard who I had to, what I had to say. I just want to know what you have to say. You can also follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24/7 and use the hashtag #TheShortSportsShow to let me know who you pick. And then we have Friday's games, but we'll talk about those on Friday as well as we can recap some of these games later on, or actually, recap them on Friday and whatnot. So we'll do that. Let's move on to the NFL. Not a whole lot of news again, other than the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. Now, a report came out that he had taken HGH, performance-enhancing drugs, during the 2011 year, and where he had a messed up neck, broken neck, whatever you want to call it. He was recovering from neck surgery, and this report said that he had taken, again, performance-enhancing drugs. I have the interview right here. You guys can listen to it. This is the interview that Peyton Manning had about the Al Jazeera report. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics of this on whether it is correct or whether it is wrong. We're just going to play it by ear here because I'm not going to get anywhere into this, because some of these reports have been true before and some of them have been wrong. You're going to hear a lot of things differently, but again, I'm not going to get into it. Here is the interview with Peyton Manning and Lisa Salters of ESPN as he talks about how furious and disgusted he was with the report that claimed him and several high-profile athletes who were supplied performance-enhancing drugs from an anti-aging clinic. Here's the report.
Tell me, Peyton, what was your reaction to the Al Jazeera report that you had human growth hormone mailed to your home when you were recovering from that surgery?
Well, I think I rotate, Lisa, between being angry, furious, on, but disgusted is really how I feel, sickened by it, that I'm not sure I understand how someone can make something up about somebody, admit that he's made it up, and yet it somehow gets published in a story. I don't understand that. Maybe you can explain it to me, somebody else can. So it's completely fabricated, complete trash, garbage. There's some more adjectives I'd like to be able to use, but it really makes me sick. Makes me sick that it brings Ashley into it, her medical history, her medical privacy being violated. That makes me sick. I don't understand that. And, I'm in the middle of my throwing workout, which I enjoy doing that, and if I got to interrupt this workout to come and, talk about this, it's not right. I don't understand it.
Have you ever used HGH or any performance-enhancing drug?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And what hurts me the most about this is that whoever this guy is, this slapstick, trying to insinuate that in 2011 when I, more or less had a broken neck. I don't know, 4 neck surgeries, broken neck, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a difference in there, but I had a bad neck. And I busted my butt, to get healthy. Put in a lot of hard work. I saw a lot of doctors. I went to the Geyer Clinic. He had a hyperbaric chamber that our coach, trainers, and doctors thought might be good for me. They went with me and thought it might help. Don't know if it helped. It didn't hurt. Time ended up being probably my best medicine, along with a lot of hard work. And that it really it stings me, whoever this guy is, insinuating that I cut corners. I broke NFL rules in order to get healthy. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke.
Now, as you heard there, Al Jazeera identified Sly as a pharmacist employed at the Geyer Institute in Indianapolis, but Sly told ESPN's Chris Mortensen that he isn't a pharmacist and wasn't at the Geyer Institute in 2011 as the report claimed. State licensing records indicate that Charles David Sly was licensed as a pharmacy intern in Indiana from April 2010 to May of 2013, and his license expired May 1st of 2013. Sly also said he took back his report, his story, to Al Jazeera when he realized that it had used information he had, quote, made up, end quote, to British hurdler Liam Collins, the undercover reporter who Sly was said was trying to get into the supplementation business. The report linked several other athletes to HGH and other drugs, including Green Bay Packers linebacker Mike Neal and his teammate Julius Peppers. The report also mentions Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker James Harrison, and that those athletes were received shipments, of a new performance-enhancing drug called Delta 2 from Sly. The report goes on to say that Sly furnished Clay Matthews with painkillers. Now, Matthews' reaction mirrored Manning's and the other Packers players, saying, quote, I think it's bull, you know the rest. To be completely honest with you, it's a 100% false, fabricated information. I don't know who this guy is. I couldn't tell you what he looks like. I've never talked with him. I've never communicated with him, so for him to bring up my name like that, which appears to be out of thin air, is bull, blink, for a lack of better term. Now, after the Steelers' 20-17 loss to the Ravens, James Harrison also denied allegations, calling them disappointing. Quote, "You have to check your facts before you write something like that. Just because somebody says it doesn't mean it's true. Now I have to fight it because I look like I could be doing it." End quote. So very interesting. We're going to play this by ear and what happens as time goes on. Again, I'm not going to get into whether it's right or wrong. I mean, we still don't know. I know a lot of reports and a lot of big websites, our sources are saying it's completely wrong and all this other stuff. But, let's just play it by ear. Now, I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it all. I'm not saying a thing, whether it's wrong or right. But I'm saying what the story is so far and what we've got. And we're going to play it by ear to what it is. Now, Todd Gurley, he did his part to help the St. Louis Rams stun the Seattle Seahawks with a 23-17 win on Sunday. The first time Seattle has been swept by an NFC West opponent since, I believe, 2011. And one of the Seahawks' top defensive players wasn't going to give any credit to Todd Gurley. Now, Gurley missed the first matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks back in week 1, which St. Louis won again in overtime. While he was working from a torn ACL that he suffered back when he was at Georgia in 2014. Now on Sunday, Gurley rushed for 85 yards, 19 carries, and scored the eventual winning touchdown on a 2-yard score in the fourth quarter, which before that he had a big run. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was a crazy run. He hurdles over a safety. I don't know if it's Earl Thomas or not, and it would look like, okay, this is a great run. And then he fumbles the freaking ball. Thankfully, it was recovered by a Rams offensive lineman. Multiple fumbles in this game. Very sloppy game. But it was just a great run. And all he had to do was complete the run just by, taking another hit, go down, or rushing in for that touchdown or something. But he had to fumble the ball. But anyways, the guy who didn't want to give him any compliments or anything about him was Seahawks defensive end Michael Bennett. He came away unimpressed, saying, quote, "He's average to me personally. I've seen better running backs. He's no Marshawn Lynch. The Rams, they play good football against us. They just don't play good football against everybody else." End quote. Now, Gurley was selected to the Pro Bowl last week. He ranks 3rd in rushing this year with 1,100 yards despite missing the first 2 games, which is incredible for him to get through that from the torn ACL to this. He almost could have been with the Chargers had the Chargers just, instead of trading up just a couple spots, one spot, they could have traded up higher and picked Todd Gurley, but whatever. Anyways, Michael Bennett, he's fun. He's a fun guy. I think he's just upset to say that he's average. I don't know what average is. If you're going to talk about Adrian Peterson and his great recovery they had from a torn ACL to the MVP year that he had, and then say that Todd Gurley, who, yeah, he didn't have, the 9 extra 100 yards that Adrian Peterson had that year, but did do a whole lot more than what an average running back is. Not gonna say any names, but there are multiple average running backs. But I still like the Seahawks. Michael Bennett, I still like him, but Todd Gurley's not average. Here is a playoff picture as we'll talk about the games and wrap up the show. Now, there's some interesting things that most people do not know or have not heard yet that you need to know, so that way if you're talking to other people about the games or the playoff picture, you need to know this because you need to be right. Now, the New England Patriots, they have the number 1 seed right now, and if the Bengals at the end of the year tie New England at 13-3, which could be possible, the Patriots will still keep the number 1 seed by virtue of the common opponent tiebreaker. Patriots and Bengals did not play each other, so it goes to the common opponent tiebreaker, and New England has that over Cincinnati. So if they both finish 13-3, the Patriots do get the number 1 seed. Now, that means Cincinnati right now is the number 2 seed. But the Bengals play the Broncos, who the Broncos are the number 3 seed. So, I don't want to get, anybody confused here, but the winner of tonight's game between Denver and Cincinnati will get the 2nd spot right now. Obviously, that could all change by the end of Week 17, but as of right now, ending Week 16 tonight on Monday Night Football, The Bengals at the Broncos. The winner of that gets the number 2 seed. Then you have the Texans at the number 4 seed with the 8-7. Kansas City Chiefs 10-5. They're on the 5th seed, and the Jets are the 6th seed at 10-5. Another interesting note by the NFC side is the Carolina Panthers. Now, most would think now that they're not undefeated anymore. They're into the last week. They're 14-1. Right? Most people think, all right, well, the Panthers, all right, just sit the starters. You're not undefeated anymore. There's nothing really to play for. Just sit out next week. You're on the road against Tampa Bay. It doesn't matter for either one of these teams. Don't play. You'd be foolish for that to happen. You'd be foolish to think so. Arizona can still take the first overall spot if Carolina loses next week at Tampa Bay and Arizona wins at home against Seattle. So Carolina dug themselves in a hole. They should have won last night or yesterday, because now they can lose the number 1 spot that they've had all year long. They can now lose it next week. So it goes into that situation where you feel comfortable in letting your backups play and that they could beat Tampa Bay on the road. Can you do that? Do you feel that confident? Keep your players healthy for the playoffs that you know that you're guaranteed in. But if you do not win this game and Arizona wins at home against Seattle, you've just lost home field advantage all the way through. And basically, you've got to hope that Arizona loses in the playoffs, and then that way you can get home field. If not, it's going to be tough to play the NFC Championship game at Arizona. That's going to be one tough game to play. Green Bay just experienced it. So, I don't know. What would you still sit? Would you still sit your Cam Newton and everybody, all the players? Would you sit your starters so that way you ensure no one gets hurt, at least in a game, and get ready for the playoffs? I don't know because Arizona, they sit. I mean, they now know that they could get the first overall spot. What do? But they're also playing Seattle, who needs to win. Seattle needs to win this game because by the playoff standings right now, so obviously Carolina's number 1, Arizona's number 2, Green Bay is number 3, Washington is number 4, Minnesota moves up to number 5 with the win last night, and Seattle drops to number 6, which means for Seattle, they need to win, and they have to hope that the Packers lose because of this. Seattle does not want to go play at Green Bay. They do not want to. They much rather play at at Washington. They much rather play that game. Because if Green Bay loses and Seattle wins, Seattle would then most likely take the 5th spot back. Green Bay drops to the 6th seed, and Minnesota will go to the 3rd seed, which means you would have a Minnesota Green Bay at Minnesota game and a Seattle at Washington game. Seattle guarantee you they want that game instead. They want to be at Washington instead of at Green Bay. But we'll see. The NFC is going to get crazy. The AFC is pretty much predicted. Patriots are all but locked at the number 1 spot. And Denver and Cincinnati, they battle for the number 2 seed. And it's basically locked up from there. Steelers need a whole lot of help for them to get in. And with the NFC side, it's interesting. The whole 1 through 3 can change. And so basically Washington's the only one that's locked in where they are. They can't go any higher. So it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy matchup, that is for sure. So again, tonight, 7:30 Central Time on ESPN. Cincinnati taking on the Denver Broncos. Denver is 3.5-point favorite. 9 degrees tonight. 9 degrees. AJ McCarron taking on the Denver Broncos. I was originally going to pick Cincinnati. I'm changing my pick to Denver tonight for Denver to get this W. Moving on, Washington beat Philadelphia on Saturday, 38-24. Just dominated the Eagles, knocks them out of playoffs. Then you have the Jets and the Patriots. Some controversy happened in overtime, tied at 20. Slater picked for them to kick off, which that's what apparently Bill Belichick wanted, and Slater was completely lost. I don't know why he was lost. Apparently he was wanting the Jets to kick off a certain way, but you don't get to pick that way. You get to pick either you want to kick or receive. That's the first choice. And then after that, then the other team picks which way they want to receive or kick. That's how it happens. Slater did not know that. He said they wanted to kick, and that's what happened. Jets end up a couple plays later scoring a touchdown, wins the game 26-20 as the Jets win. Texans beat the Titans 34-6. Zach Mannenberger 27-51, 234 yards, a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins went off 7 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown as Houston. And Brandon Whedon gets a rushing touchdown, gets the job, and a passing touchdown, gets the job done for Houston. Wow. The Chiefs and the Browns went at it. Johnny Manziel, could not get it done. Chiefs win their 9th straight game, 17-13. Johnny Manziel, 13 of 32, 136 yards, no touchdowns, but a pick. But he also rushed for 108 yards. Not bad. Just didn't get the job done. I made some terrible reads, too. Colts and the Dolphins, what an ugly, boring game this was, but the Colts get it done. 18-12 was the final score. It's not even worth talking about. Lions and the 49ers, 32-17. The Lions win that game. Nothing worth talking about. Bills and the Cowboys. Bills win 16-6. Nothing worth talking about. Bears and the Buccaneers. Nothing worth talking about, but 26-21. Bears win. And, of course, we were saying earlier, Panthers and the Falcons. Falcons get a win, but doesn't matter. 20-13. They end the streak of the Panthers. And everybody, all the Panther haters are just attacking the Panthers. You're just going at, oh, you guys going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, they're 14-1. They have the best record, not even close, and probably the best team in the NFL right now. So, okay, your point is, I'm not a Panthers, I'm not a bandwagon. I like Cam Newton. I don't necessarily hate the Panthers, but they're not my team. But I'm not going to just go bash them like, I told you couldn't do it. Yeah, it took you, 15 games to finally lose. That's not bad. I don't care. Especially the Falcons. You're 8-7. You started off 5-0. You're the most disappointing team in the NFL. Please stop. The Ravens somehow beat the Steelers 20-17. They sweep the series this year. Yeah, the 5-10 Ravens. 2 of those 5 wins are against the Steelers. Wow. Ryan Mallett, 28-41, 274 yards and a touchdown. D'Angelo Williams, 17 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns as the Ravens win. Saints and the Jaguars, 38-27 as Drew Brees goes for over 400 passing yards. And Allen Robinson, 151 yards, I believe. Is it him or Allen Hurns that went over? Allen Hurns, I believe, went over 1,000 yards receiving this year. But the Saints win 38-27. Rams beat the Seahawks in a sloppy game, 23-17. Cardinals and the Packers, this was basically, if you guys remember, it was back, I believe, in 2009. It was the divisional playoff game between the Packers and the Cardinals. Packers were at the Cardinals, and at the end, it was a shootout game. It was an overtime game. I remember this game like it was yesterday. 45-42 was the final score, I do believe. And the last play of the game, the game-winning touchdown for Arizona was a sack, strip, fumble touchdown for Arizona to win the game. It was basically that play was on repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again for the Packers. That was the whole game for them. It was just repeating that same play, different points at on the field, but it was repeating that. Sack, fumble, touchdown, sack, fumble, touchdown, sack, fumble. It was just repeating over. This Green Bay offensive line is absolutely terrible. And Arizona gets multiple touchdowns from interceptions to fumbles. That's how they got their touchdowns. It was an incredible game for the Cardinals. Their defense really showed up. Cardinals 6-1 at home. They have a chance to go 7-1 against Seattle next week at home. Carson Palmer, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. Eddie Lacy, only 60 yards rushing on 12 carries. Michael Floyd, 6 receptions, 111 yards, as the Arizona Cardinals improved to 13-2 and the Packers dropped to 10-5 with a 38-8 loss. This is the part, and I hate to do this for you Cardinals fans, but I have to ask this question. And this question is, what is going to happen to this team, to this Cardinals team? They've had multiple years of success, and something's always happened that has screwed them up. Most of the time, it's been an injury to Carson Palmer. Now, I'm not calling for an injury to Carson Palmer. I don't want the Cardinals to fall. I do like the Cardinals. But if I'm a Cardinals fan, is that in the back of my mind like, okay, we've had such a great year. Palmer hasn't got hurt, but what's going to happen? Is it going to be a first round? Obviously it'll be the second round for them, but their first playoff game is going to be one and done. I mean, what's going to happen? This team is it finally their year? Or is something going to come up and just like, really? Because they're not going to just lose a tough-fought battle. It's going to be like, what just happened? That's how they're going to lose in the playoffs. Or something's going to happen to a key player against next week. That's just how I feel. Oh, I keep dropping it. That's just how I feel when it comes to the Cardinals. It's like they have a great year and then something happens, usually an injury. It's like if it'd be back in my mind. So I don't know. I'm not trying to call it some little hoax or whatever on Cardinals. I hope to do a great job and go to the NFC Championship game. What I want is an Arizona Cardinals and Carolina Panthers NFC Championship game. If the Seahawks can't go there, I want that game. That's the game I want. And then finally, last night's game, which it shocked me. I didn't think there was any chance the Vikings win this game. I picked the Giants all the way. I thought the Giants would easily win this with multiple defensive starters out for the Minnesota Vikings. That did not happen as the Vikings crushed the Giants and eliminate any playoff hopes for them. Well, actually, with a Washington win, it didn't matter. As they just dominated them 49-17. Adrian Peterson, 104 yards and a touchdown. Ruben Randall had a crazy touchdown. This is why you wrap up. This was a game of showing players you need to wrap up because trying to go for big hits does not work 100% of the time. More than like 20% of the time, it doesn't work. And the Vikings improved to 10-5. Giants dropped to 6-9. And again tonight we have the Bengals at the Broncos, 7:30 Central Time on ESPN. And that right there wraps up the show. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like it, share it with your friends and family, rate it on iTunes. It'd do me a huge favor for that. And no matter where you listen to, all links are down in the description below. You can listen anywhere, anytime. And I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, God first, God bless. And I will see you guys Friday morning when we recap the college football playoffs. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be electric. It's going to be fun. And I can't wait to talk about it with you guys again. Follow me on Twitter at @short_sports247. And tweet me anytime. Tweet me. I don't care. Just tweet it and let me know what you guys think, what you guys are thinking throughout the game. Let me know. Thank you guys so much on Spreaker and everybody. I'm out. God first. God bless. Peace.
I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever. Forever. I'ma do this here forever.